cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut.
Hello, everybody, and welcome
You forgot
into...
the clap.
Okay.
For audio syncing.
Okay, Justin, never mind. Ignore that. We're about to do a clap. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome into today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. My name is Sunny. I'm your host. I'm here with my co-host, Caleb.
Hello.
And, of course, before we get too far in, we want to go ahead and thank our wonderful patrons. So, a huge thank you to Cam Yang, Top Cuts, Trouble Sunny, and Caleb, Austin Johnson, Kane Martin, Marshawn Jones, Zyphorus, Yeet Defeat, AD, Ash Blossom, and No Joy. Earth Machine, Best Deck, Epi, has anyone actually read Toy Vendor, HGH Cyber, I Am McLincoln, Imagine playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2022 on Earth in the Milky Way Galaxy, in the universe on Earth in 2022 playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Jarrett Helton, Mountain Man, Oatmeal Spaghetti, Owen Alvarado, Pig, quitting the game is a floodgate, you're not wrong. Rudolph, Sprite Farter, Tearlaments having this floodgate in your mouth. Unbanned number 95, Konami, understanding and reading are two different things. Virtually Savior's World. You still play Dragon Link? Well, cry me a river while I'm dragging these nuts across your face. Aaron Gardner, Asami, Ashless Chaps, Brandon Potter, Duty Booty, Dragon Maidenless Behavior, Jerry Beans Man, King Henry, Old Man Red, Pin Code 143, Ray Powell, Shockmaster did nothing wrong, Slaking it up, Sunny wanting to ban every card that counters Sword Soul and crying about it, hold this L.
Got him.
Okay, this is my first time seeing this one, and first of all, ouch. Ouch, that hurts. I'm not saying you're wrong, okay? I'm just saying it hurts to hear it. The Metakillers podcast tries to indoctrinate Sunny and Caleb to play Flunder. Hashtag Flunder best deck. L plus ratio plus Appaloosa is not a flood. Where Appaloosa dating sim Konami. Thank you all so much for your continued support. Let's circle back around to this wanting to ban every card that counters Sword Soul and crying about it. Okay, so listen. I don't want to ban every card that counters Sword Soul. In fact, I want to ban a lot of cards that help Sword Soul. Mystic Mind should go. Rivalry should be limited. Gozen should be limited, even though that's not a card that helps Sword Soul. Tikaboo should be limited. There's cards that are played in Sword Soul lists that should be banned or limited. Just like there's cards that are not played in Sword Soul lists that should be banned or limited. So yes, I'm going to cry about it, because it's Sword Soul best deck. I don't know, something like that. All right, and of course, before we get too much farther, let's go ahead and thank a few sponsors real quick. So huge thank you to Millennium Threads. Millennium Threads is, of course, a wonderful Etsy shop where you can go and catch all of your wonderful various Yu-Gi-Oh! Merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, etc. They're all embroidered by the order, and wonderful, wonderful shop. You should go and check it out. And use code TOPCUT10 at checkout for 10% off of your order. There's a link down below. Of course, check out Dragon Shield Games. Dragon Shield is, of course, one of the largest TCG accessory manufacturers in the world. Dragon Shield has all of these sleeves into various colors that you love and things like that. Go ahead and check them out. Also, they have a really cool Halloween sleeve. You can find it on their website. Super sick.
It is very cool artwork.
Yeah, super sick. So be sure to check out Dragon Shield. The link down below is an affiliate link. So if you click it before you shop, it helps us out. Same thing with the TCG player link down below. If you click it before we shop, helps us out a ton. And we do get some kickback from that sale. No extra cost to you, just helps us out. So, and of course, if you want me to read something stupid within reason before every episode, you can check out our Patreon down below. So, but the number one way that you can support us is by subscribing to our YouTube, dinging the notification bell, commenting, liking, all those things. They help out the algorithm a lot, which is something that we're still learning. So the algorithm boosting our numbers would be awesome for us. So,
woo.
But that's the number one way you can help out, is just by spreading the word. So, we're going to talk a lot today about the various different new cards.
Because it's been a hot minute since we talked about any new cards.
Yeah, so we got like 2 or 3 card announcements while I was gone at YCS Niagara.
Yeah, and we were like, it can wait till you get back. And then you got back, it's like, it's only like 2 cards.
Right. So we just decided to just put it off until we actually got like a reasonable amount of new cards. And then over the past 4 days, we've gotten a ton of new cards coming from Photon Hypernova.
Yeah, and so now we're suffering for our mistake in deciding that.
Yeah, so
Don't be like us. Learn from our mistakes.
yeah, so today's episode is going to be filled with new cards. We're going to go through, we're going to review some of them, and of course, we're going to do some mailbag questions at the end. So, you could call this our fan service episode. So,
No.
what do you mean? People like hearing about new cards.
Yes.
So why can't we call this a fan service episode?
There's no fan service in this episode.
Move that blanket and there will be.
Fair.
All right,
With
so...
my new shorts.
Oh, I was talking about the feet, dog. Where the feet at, though? All right, so we're going to do some other announcements, too, with this. So the first thing to announce is that the OTS Pack 20 has been delayed a little bit. This is the TCG OTS packs. You get them at your local OTS store for going and participating in tournaments. Every shop does it differently, right?
Yeah.
Some shops just do 1 or 2 OTS packs just for entering the tournament and then nothing else. Some do 1 for entry, and then you get more based on where you
Placement,
ranked. Where you ranked at the end of the tournament. So
Some places do a combination of both.
right. So it was delayed in North and Latin America to 10/26/2022, which I believe is in 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks.
Give or take, yeah.
And then 10/19/2022 in Europe. So Europe gets it a little bit earlier. Just they're still dealing with printing press issues and making sure that all the cards get printed and packaged and put out correctly.
And then also, I think they're also putting in a little bit of extra time in what's the word I'm looking for? I forgot the word right when I was about to say
Print
it.
quality.
Yes.
Okay.
Quality control. I think they're doing
QC.
a little bit. Yeah, I think they're doing a little bit extra quality control in this round because
Not a bad thing.
You know, they've been kind of skimping on that a little bit.
Yeah, I think that there hasn't really been a lot of sets that you can point to since COVID started, where there is really a significant amount of good quality control. I think that you could point to, I know the big one that everybody talks about is the Maximum Gold Eldorado,
Oh my god.
where you just had gold like covering half of the card, things like that, or cards just not getting the gold trim where they're supposed to go. I'll be honest, I don't know how Maximum Gold got a second printing, because there was a lot of those issues with the first set, and it wasn't quite as bad, but still.
Yeah. The issues were still there, but they improved it. I'll give them that.
No, it got worse.
Oh, I thought I got better.
No, it got way worse.
I'd already gotten. Well, I guess we also kind of go through different circles so that we can get as much info as we can.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess I just got all the info where it was like, oh, this is better.
Yeah, from what I saw, Max Gold got worse. But you even had issues with sets like Brothers of Legend.
Oh my god.
So Brothers of Legend, the big issue in that set was foil bleed, which, for what it's worth, I think foil bleed is about the coolest printing error, quote unquote, that you can have.
Oh, absolutely.
I know that I got cards out of Max Gold. I don't know about you, but it looked like the entire card was secret rare, just about.
Which is super cool looking. I'm not gonna lie.
Right. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I never get anything cool like that.
Well, it was actually really common. It was almost every secret rare in every pack.
To be fair, I also didn't buy a whole lot of that set.
Oh, okay.
So, but I did get a couple. I did get like a handful of secrets, and none of them had it.
Like Piri Reese map. If you have any copies of Piri Reese map, go look at it kind of close. Look around where the text box is, and you'll probably see secret rare foiling on the box.
Mm-hmm.
So
It might have just been like specifically the Piri Reese map and like 1 or 2 other specific cards
no,
I just never
like
pulled.
dude, Nibiru was the worst. Like, as far as I say worst, again, I would almost say it's the best, but
Yeah.
Nibiru
Like,
was strong.
yeah, like if you're going to have a printing issue, that's the one you want to have.
Yeah, foil bleed is crazy. I've seen old cards with foil bleed. Like, I saw somebody had a Luster Dragon.
Ooh.
So it's an old super rare Luster Dragon, and the whole card is super rare. It is the sickest thing you've ever seen. So, but OTS pack did get delayed, and so we do have some rumors going around, and we have to be very careful about how we say this because
They are rumors. This is only hearsay.
I mean, there's pictures, but we're going to call them rumors because nothing is confirmed. Nothing is finalized. It could still just be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to use the L word because that's not what this is.
No, it's hearsay.
Yeah, stuff going around in Facebook groups. We don't know if this is true or not.
Yeah.
But there are rumors that the 3 ultimate rares from OTS Pack 20 is... so we know Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. That's 100% confirmed.
Yeah, that's on the product page.
Yes. And the other 2 are Sky Striker Ace Ray and Aluber the Jester of Despia. Is he the Jester of Despia? Is that what it is? Or is it Aluber
Aluber the Doober Doober.
Yeah, Aluber the Doober.
Yeah, but no, he's the Jester of Despia.
Right. So the thing about these is Aluber's like fine. I feel like they're kind of printing that card into the ground.
Yeah.
Because think about it, right? It didn't have the secret rare printing, or it had the secret rare printing originally. Then it didn't get put in the structure deck. And then almost in like an effort to push the card, they put it in the Ghost from the Past 2. And then they put it in the tins.
Yeah.
And now here, and it's not even like a super meta strategy anymore. It's like a $2 card.
Oh yeah. That strategy's done come and gone.
Yeah, strategy's fallen off the map, really. I think with a strong enough ban list next go around, I think it's still possible that it pops back up.
Yeah, definitely.
It's still a good strategy. It's a good deck. Well, it's just been power crept.
Well, I mean, literally anything that can fully utilize Super Poly.
Right. I mean, even the Sword Soul strategy, which is still a good strategy, hasn't really been crippled by the ban list, I would say.
No.
And it's still a great deck. It's just power crept.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Sky Striker Ace Ray, that's a crazy one, right? Because Ray is such an iconic card from such an iconic deck that doesn't have like a quote unquote max rarity printing almost.
Yeah. So, I mean, I both hope and do not hope that it is in fact Ray. I hope it's Ray because then, there's a really cool artwork for Ray. So our good friend who has, what is it? Like doesn't he have like the entire extra deck fully max rarity?
So he had the entire extra deck max rarity, all of the spells maxed. He even had
collector rares.
No, secrets.
No, I mean for the extra deck. It was like Starlight.
Ultis. It was all Ultis.
Thank you, Ultis. I didn't know.
OTS pack Ultis, yeah.
Got it, yeah.
Like Kagari's were like $300.
Yeah.
So Ultis all through the extra deck. I mean, even like the staples. He was working on max staples that week. Had the entire deck max rarity. Even had like Starlight Ray or Starlight Rose, and now Ulti Ray. Sadly, he sold that entire deck. But
yeah,
the point is, Sky Striker players, you don't have to run super
Rejoice.
rare. Yeah, you don't have to run super rare prismatic secret Ray anymore. You can run the Ulti, which is like crazy. So that deck gets maxed even more. All right, next we have the announcement of Photon hypernova for the TCG.
Woo!
So this will be coming out, or well, let's see, the launch date it says is 2/10/2023, so February 10th of next year.
Yeah.
So this will be 50 commons, 26 supers, 14 ultras, and 10 secrets, which has been the ratio here lately. Galactic Chaos erupts in February with Photon Hypernova, the first core booster of 2023 for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. This 100-card set lets your deck shine brighter than ever before with brand new cards for Kite Tenjo's Photon and Galaxy strategy from Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. Expect the unexpected in Photon Hypernova with powerful new cards to discover that are truly out of this world. Here's just some of what you can look forward to. A new world of strategy opens up thanks to new Photon and Galaxy cards. Unleash up to 3 attacks on your opponent's monsters with a brand new form of number 62 Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon. If you're looking for more Photon and Galaxy cards to increase your synergies, you can find some in Legendary Duelist Season 2. Brand new Chaos monsters. New tuner monsters will help you unleash a massive multi-attacking monster-banishing Synchro monster powerhouse that can reach 4,500 attack. If Synchro summons aren't your thing, you can try a world premiere monster whose capabilities change depending on where the monsters you banish originate from. Vista Starfrost's journey continues. New cards to complement these Scareclaw, Tearlaments, and Kshatriy strategies from Dimension Force, Power of the Elements, and Darkwing Blast. Illuminate new strategies and uncover brand new cards that might seem familiar. New cards that explore modern ways to play themes from the past. Saddle up, duelists. Get ready to run the most dangerous race ever devised by man with a brand new world premiere theme and more. So, there's a lot to unpack here.
A racing theme?
Yeah, so that's what they're saying. The most dangerous race ever devised by man with a brand new world premiere theme.
Didn't we already have a racing theme, I thought?
So you have FA,
Yeah.
which is... What does FA stand for? Free agents? Maybe I'm thinking UA.
But that's like...
No,
universal...
FA, there's FA Dawn Dragster. So...
Yeah. Because I remember that being like something athlete.
So I think UA is...
Ultimate athlete.
Ultimate Athlete, maybe something like
Or
that?
ultra athlete, yeah. So
Ultra
I guess,
Athlete, that's it.
yeah, then I guess FA is just like a branch of that archetype where it's racing.
I don't think it's even a branch. I think it's just its own separate thing.
You know how I think that archetype could be really cool?
This racing archetype or the other one?
That racing archetype.
If it was all based on Death Race, that rated R movie from like 2010.
Besides that,
with Jason Statham.
I mean mechanically.
Oh, sure, tell me.
Okay, so what you could do is have your main deck monsters being able to create the extra deck monsters, where the extra deck monsters are vehicles, and the main deck monsters are pilots that, like, let's say you synchro summon. Immediately on synchro summon, they equip because now they're driving the cars.
Oh, that's such a cool idea. I was thinking that the main deck monsters would be like cars, right? Like machine type cars. And then you have a bunch of equip spells that powers them up. Like you're adding like turbos to the car and adding new tires.
Oh, or like a turret where it can like attack twice. Ooh, there's actually something else you could do is add like maybe a catapult or trebuchet to the back and do like that one card. I can't think of the name of the card where it would attack, where you could like pop a card and then every card that was adjacent to it also got destroyed.
Oh, I have no idea. That's
do kind of an AOE.
That sounds super janky, but that's probably why I've never heard of it.
Yeah, but but like something like that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of different ways that they could go with this. Also, the idea of it being centered around Lightning McQueen excites me a lot. I liked Cars a lot growing up. It was a favorite of mine. The video game for Cars, the original Cars video game, was awesome.
I never played it.
Oh, it's great. It's great. It's got awesome controls for any racing game. And it's open world.
I'll take your word. Well, there was a Transformers game on the PlayStation 2 that was very, very similar. And I can't remember the name of it.
Is it called Transformers?
Yeah, it was like Transformers something. I don't remember.
All I'm saying is the Cars video game was great. It was one of many amazing PS2 racing games that did not get near the attention they deserve. Similar to how the SpongeBob games are built to be like goofy SpongeBob games, but they actually all turned out to be like amazing video games.
Part of that was entirely due to the fact that they leaned into their goofiness, which was a good thing.
Yeah, sure. But just the concepts of the world building and the way that they fleshed out Bikini Bottom and all that. Particularly
in like the original Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Right. Or Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, which was
the recent
an A+ game, by the way.
Recent
remaster.
Yeah, remaster. It's remaster.
All I'm saying is if you haven't played Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, great game. It's on the PlayStation Store. But circling back around to the thing we're actually talking about here, I think that this is cool, right? I think that we've already gotten the new 4500 attack boss monster in a previous episode. We talked about it. It was a card reveal from the OCG.
Yep.
Similar to what we're doing today. But overall, it'll probably be fun. I don't know that everything here will be dropping things. I don't know that I gotta have something like to play with in my hands. That's that like ADHD where like I have to be moving.
Get a fidget cube.
I probably should have one. I had a fidget spinner for a while, but people kept making fun of me, so I stopped. I got rid of it.
Yes, that's why I said get a fidget cube. People won't make fun of you for a fidget cube.
Not to your face.
Yeah, exactly. It's a step up.
I'd rather him tell me. I'd rather him say something.
Anyway, moving right along.
We've talked about a lot of the cards in here. The new world premiere stuff will obviously be new, and we'll cover it probably right around the time that the set gets, real reveals in the TCG. But
in the next, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months, maybe.
4.
Very possibly near the beginning of February.
Yeah, we'll probably get the reveals right around then. So,
Yeah.
All right. Now, the next thing is we have the reveals for Darkwing Blast coming. So, Darkwing Blast comes out late October, a few weeks, about 2.5, 3 weeks.
I'm excited.
Same. So, basically, they're announcing each of the new things that they're excited to showcase in Darkwing Blast. They're doing content creator YouTube.
Yeah.
Basically little specialized videos done
so
by content creators for each theme.
Yeah, so like one content creator will cover the Bystial archetype, another content creator will cover the blah blah archetype, and then like a third one will cover the random free agents.
Right. So,
which is cool. I like that they do that.
Yeah. So, if you are listening to this on Tuesday, we will have actually already had
The first day of this?
the first couple. So this started on Sunday.
Oh.
Yes. I don't know exactly who did it because I pulled up my YouTube and it didn't immediately pop up, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But so Sunday will be the new Blackwing cards. Then Monday is the new Ninja Monsters.
Oh, that's right. They just got Steam the Cloak back.
Yeah, Blackwing's just got Steam the Cloak. The Blackwing cards have a
Oh.
real shot to actually be very competitive.
Yeah.
So, and then next we have the. They announced that if you participate in regional qualifiers this season and OTS championships during the Darkwing Blast season, you can get the new Ninja playmat.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool. And then on Tuesday, you'll have the new Bystial archetype, which is
Bisted.
it's Bisted in the OCG, and it got translated to Bystial. And then they announced a new form for Lubellian called the Bystial Lubellian. Then I guess this is Wednesday or Thursday, they're doing Goatee, which is the fish theme from last set. They have a bunch of new support coming in this set.
What is that? 6 cards?
Yeah, half a dozen cards.
Jesus.
And then the next day, last day, you can also get an ultra rare. They announced that they're going to do an ultra rare Muckraker from the Underworld. So, as the premier card.
Muckraker is a cool card.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's another card added into that Underworld lore.
Yeah, from the Underworld of the overworld of the Underworld. Blah blah.
Yeah, tour guide, tour bias, all that.
Tour. Well, yeah, and there's also Beat Cop, so it's like adverb, job, from the Underworld or of the Underworld.
Well, I would just say job of the Underworld or from the Underworld.
Fair enough.
Because like Beat Cop,
It is a job, yeah.
And like a Muckraker is like a type of reporter, you know.
Yeah.
So
That isn't Dispatcherazzi. So hard to say.
huh?
In an earlier set, there was a common link monster called Dispatcherazzi,
Oh, I didn't know that.
like paparazzi.
yeah,
And he was like a little fiend where I think his head was a camera.
that tracks.
Little demon dude.
Yeah. All right. Next we're going to talk about some Evil Eye support. This is actually from Photon Hypernova.
Yep.
And this set releases like in the next week or two in the OCG.
So the the first line on Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization for this, it's time for a glorious baptism of darkness to begin. If that isn't Evil Eye, edgy ridiculousness, I don't know what is.
Oh, yeah. All right. Why don't you read the first card?
Sure, can do. Let's see. First off, we have Basil Trice, familiar of the Evil Eye, level 3 Dark Fiend, 1000 attack, 2000 defense. That's bulky for a level 3. Anyway, you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, and you control an Evil Eye monster, quick effect, special summon this card, but then banish it when it leaves the field. So it special summons itself out of your hand or graveyard. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see. 2. During your opponent's turn, you can quick effect. Immediately after this effect resolves, link summon an Evil Eye monster using materials you control. So it's Formula Synchron, but for links.
Yes.
Rough. When you do, you can treat Evil Eye equipped spells as monsters and use them as materials.
Holy. That's crazy.
Jesus.
Next we have Evil Eye Resurrection. This is a normal spell card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. First effect, send 1 Evil Eye monster and 1 Evil Eye spell trap from your deck to the graveyard. Add 1 Evil Eye equip spell from your deck to your hand also for the rest of this turn. Each time you activate a non-Evil Eye card or effect, you lose 500 life points. 2. If you link summon an Evil Eye monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, equip 1 Evil Eye equip spell from your graveyard to 1 Evil Eye link monster you control. So there is a non-zero chance they went for Satan to make it sound extra demony, as it sounds like Satan. On the translation here for YG Organization, they went with Resurrection to give it a similar vibe as a lot of video games and media would go with something like Resurrection for the Dark Lord going full demon mode. So
Fascinating.
I know you would have read that out if I didn't, so I may as well just read it.
Fair enough.
You're big into the etymology of the cards.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's talk about some generators.
Yes.
By the way, we don't know if we did the Generaider and Evil Eye cards yet.
We probably didn't. It's a possibility we did and just forgot.
So we're doing it again just to be safe.
Yeah.
We figured you'd rather hear it twice than never hear it at all, because
Exactly.
there are people that like Evil Eye and Generaider for some reason.
I think the archetype's cool. Getting back on track.
Sure, you think that.
First new card is Vara, Sidhir of the Generaider bosses, level 9 fairy effect monster, 2500 attack and defense, which makes it a what are those machines called?
Gizmek.
Yeah, it kind of makes it a Gizmek without being a machine. You can only see second and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1. You can only control 1 Vara Sidhir of the Generaider bosses. 2. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can send one other Generaider card from your hand to the graveyard, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Interesting. 3. If this card is special summoned, you can special summon a Generaider monster from your hand or graveyard, except another copy of itself. Note, Vara itself seems to be Germanic or Nordic word for heed or be aware of. It can also be a feminized spelling of Var, the goddess of oaths. Sidhir itself is a form of pre-Christian Nordic magic associated with both seeing/telling the future as well as shaping the future. And while both men and women practice it, it has an association with the feminine. Interesting.
Right. Next we have an Xyz monster, Leviathan Generaider Boss of Shadows. Or Leviathan? Or is it Leviathan?
It'd be Leviathan.
Leviathan. Leviathan,
maybe? It's a pun on Leviathan.
Yeah. Generaider Boss of Shadows, rank 9 Fire Fairy Xyz effect monster, 2500 attack, 2500 defense, materials 2+ level 9 monsters. 1. You can only control 1 Leviathan Generaider Boss of Shadows. 2. All monsters your opponent controls lose 1000 attack and defense. And 3. Quick effect, you contribute this Xyz summoned card, special summon 1 Fairy Generaider Xyz monster from your deck. Then you can attach cards from the field and or any graveyards to it as material up to the numbers of material this card had. So these cards seem really, really good for the Generaider archetype, right? So Vara gives you another way to get into your level 9 Xyz, right? It's an extender. Yeah. And then
the level 9 Xyz lets you tag out into... I don't know specifically.
So I think they let you tag into each other.
Maybe.
Right.
And then you can also add a bunch of stuff on the field.
Depending on the different effects, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think there is Leviathan, and then I want to say one is Har. And
I don't know where off the top of my head, unfortunately.
One is Jormungandr. I know that.
Oh, Jormungandr? Really?
Yes.
I haven't actually looked.
You would love this archetype.
Probably.
You would love this archetype. And they're very pretty, and it's pretty cheap because it's not considered a quote-unquote good deck, but it actually does have some really cool plays and synergies.
I'll have to take a look at it at some point.
Yeah.
Jormungandr is a really cool concept that I don't...
Have you ever seen the card?
No. You can show me after done recording.
I have some copies. I'll show it to you after we record.
Awesome.
Some of the cards used to be really expensive.
Yeah, I know that there was one that was like a green fairy lady.
Yeah, Mardell. Generaider Boss of Light, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
And she was really expensive because she was using different like plant strategies. Because he's just like a generically good plant card.
I see, says the blind man.
Yeah. All right. Next we have a new Tearlament field spell.
This beach episode won't be stopped by the mere ban list.
That's right. So this is
The first world of the Ripple Songstress, Tearlaments Pearl Regia.
I think it's just Tearlaments Pearl Regia.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I think his Japanese name is the first world of the graceful Ripple Songstresses.
Yeah, which is a wild name.
Yeah, and then we just call it Tearlaments Pearl Regia. It's Pearl Regia.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Perlegia? Whatever. Perlegia sounds cooler. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Fusion monsters and Tearlaments you control gain 500 attack. All fusions. Interesting.
The name of this card is what I says it is. And what I says it is cool.
If an Aqua
That's how it sounded to me.
If an Aqua Tearlaments monster is sent to your graveyard by a card effect, you can send a level 4 lower Aqua monster from your deck to the graveyard. But if it is not a Tearlaments monster, you cannot activate cards with the effective card to that name for the rest of this turn.
Okay, so this is cool, right? Because it allows you to chain block your Tearlaments. Because if it gets sent to graveyard by card effect, right, it'll trigger its fusion effect. And then you can also trigger this chain link too. And because the Tearlament cards don't target, quote unquote, you can send a card from deck to grave as long as you have materials to fuse with. And then use that card that you sent from deck to grave as the fusion material.
That is true. The only exception with that, I think, would be... Well, you can't activate, and King of the Swamp is an activated effect. So never mind.
What?
You can mill the King of the Swamp.
Is he an Aqua?
Yeah.
Holy moly. That's
Yeah.
crazy because so many of the decks, so many Tearlament decks have cut King of the Swamp at this point.
I think. Let me double check on that. I'm like 9% sure he's an Aqua.
Yeah, I think it is, but it's just crazy to me because, like I said, King of the Swamp has been cut. So
They might need to bring him back in.
maybe, right? I mean, this is a card that was a $20 card, and
Yeah,
now
he's
you're looking
Aqua.
at a $5 card again. Maybe thinking, man, maybe we should pick these up again, right?
Maybe. But yeah, because it states if an Aqua Tearlaments monster is sent to your graveyard by card effect, and then Chain Link 1 would be that. Chain Link 2 would be this. Send a level 4 or lower Aqua monster from your deck to the graveyard. But if it's not a Tearlaments, you cannot activate cards or the effects of cards of that same name for the rest of this turn. And then King of the Swamp's effect is an activated effect. It's a passive.
Right.
Or, well, is it a condition of the card or just a passive effect?
It's a passive effect. It just happens. It just stays happening.
Weird. Even in Grave?
Yes, you can. Yes.
That's weird. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so theoretically, yes, you could still then, with 1 mil, set up a King of the Swamp play there. So make whatever you want.
So you could literally, if this card is up, you could go Foolish Burial, send a Tearlament.
Chain Link 1, the Tearlament you just sent. Chain Link 2, the field spell, send the King of the Swamp.
Very critically, you have to have another material in grave already
to attempt.
Well, in hand, field, or grave.
Oh, fair enough.
There has to be another legal material that you can fuse with. Now, I would probably, if my opponent only had the one in grave and they didn't have one on field, and okay, hold on. Let me go back. I think the Tearlaments can fuse hand, field, and grave. I know they can do hand and grave.
Yeah.
I think they can do field also. I'm almost positive.
Yeah.
Just,
Okay, so
I
at that
could
point
be
they'd
wrong, right? I could be wrong. But
at that point, they'd have to, like, mill 2.
well, what I'm going to say is if they send one to grave and they activate that effect in grave, Chain Link 1, and then the field spell Chain Link 2.
They can send King of the Swamp and...
Yeah, but I think that they would have to have another suitable fusion material in their hand at that point.
They would have to be able to conduct the summon without the extra mill from the field spell.
Right, so my question there is, do they have to reveal that they have a legal target, or that they have a legal way to fuse in their hand?
Okay, so I think what's supposed to happen.
Do they even have to have it?
Okay, the way I think of it, from what I remember of how they're worded, is yes, they have to have a proper summon.
But you can't check hands. That's not a thing anymore.
but I think the declaration of the effect is declaring I have a valid target in hand.
So what is it? Just trust me, bro?
You can always just call a judge if you're. This is going to cause some judge issues. I can already see.
Yeah, I would think so. If that's how that works, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a judge, please reach out to us and let us know exactly how something like that would have to resolve. Because my understanding would be that you would have to have a material handy, right? Like you would have to have a material, either a second material. Like, for example, like I said, my opponent activates Foolish Burial, sends Tearlaments Havness, and they activate Havness Chainlink 1, this Chainlink 2. Well, if they don't have another material to fuse with in their hand or field, I don't think they can even activate Havness. So,
hang on, I'm reading Havness just to make sure on the fusion effect.
Well, yeah, they're all the same.
Hand, field, and or graveyard, including this card. So
but I mean, if it's turn 0 and that's the first thing you do is activate Foolish.
Yeah,
they don't have anything else on grave. They don't have anything else on field.
Yeah, so at that point is if you don't trust your opponent, you're going to have to call a judge and have them verify that that's even a legal activation.
Right, that would be my understanding of it.
Because otherwise it's literally just trust me, bro. I have a legal target in my hand. Yeah. I'm not going to use it or show it to you, but I have it.
Right. Okay. So let's go ahead and talk about the next card, which is a new V-Jump promo. This comes out later in October in the OCG. There's no telling when we're going to get it.
I love this dude.
This is Armored Insect Combination Zek Stagger. Wind Insect, level 8, 1500 attack, 2600 defense. Its effect is a complete secret, but the info blurb mentions that the October issue promo will be an insect monster that works well with cards from Photon Hypernova, and that its effect or effects allow it to special summon itself and other insect monsters.
So check out this dude. So like for his shoulder pads, he has like a ladybug, and on his other shoulder pad is a Asian beetle. One arm has like a bee stinger.
His chest plate looks like Cell from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, who's also based off of various beetles.
Mm-hmm.
And then like his head, he's got like a stag head.
Like a Hercules beetle?
Yeah, Hercules beetle is one.
Oh, stag beetle then? Is that the pincer?
Yeah, it's the big pincer one.
Yeah.
And then he's got like a butterfly on for one shin guard.
And a moth for the other.
For the other one, wielding a sword as tall as he is, a la Guts from Berserk.
Oh, and on the other arm, he has a giant bee stinger.
Yeah, I already said the bee stinger.
Oh, okay. I missed it.
Like this dude.
So imagine the Gear Gigant, gigantic Gear Gigant X or whatever, the rank 3 guy.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but made of bugs instead of machines.
Made up of different insectors.
Yeah. Okay.
This dude.
So the kanji for his name in most cases means beetle, but in a more literal sense, it's armor plus insect, and this monster seems to combine more than just regular beetles. So there you go. All right, next we have Fierce Tiger Menghu, which seems to be a play off of
Tiger King Wanghu.
Yeah, King Tiger Wanghu. Yeah.
It's a
retrain.
Retrain, yeah.
Earth Beast level 4, 1700 attack, 1000 defense, which I believe are also King Tiger Wanghu's exact stats.
I believe so.
1, all other monsters on the field lose 500 attack. 2, once per turn during your main phase, you can destroy all monsters on the field with lower attack than this card. An interesting removal thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
just like King Tiger Wanghu.
Yes.
Translator note. Much like King Tiger Wanghu, which is King and Tiger, Minghu's name is also duplicated, Fierce and Tiger. Also expect the name to change if I got the Chinese wrong.
Fair.
Okay, so basically King Tiger Wanghu is just King Tiger.
Yes.
So in this case, it'd be Fierce Tiger, hence the who at the end, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have some new Bystial and Sword Soul cards. You do the Bystial one. I want the Sword Soul one.
Fair enough. We have Bystial Baldrake, Dark Dragon, level 6, 2500 attack, 2000 defense. You can only use the first, second effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1, you can target a light or dark monster in either graveyard, banish it. If you do, special summon this card from your hand. This is a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster.
Woo-wee!
Yo, DD Crow
At quick effect speed.
at special summoning itself, and it's big. 2. If your opponent special summons a Ritual Fusion, Synchro Xyz, and/or Link monster or monsters, you contribute one other light or dark monster, then target those special monsters, banish them.
This card is so interesting. It's
know,
potentially just a good hand trap. Imagine if you could run 3 DD Crow and 3 of this guy into the Tearlaments matchup.
Oh yeah, no, just banish all their Tearlaments, and then, hey look, you summoned a fusion, it's banished.
Yeah.
What you gonna do?
Well, you
What
have
you
to
gonna
one
do?
other one, but
What
yeah.
you gonna do?
The other thing is,
In Bisted though, I think that's nothing.
you know what else is really cool?
What's that?
This dude's level 6,
I know,
which means he actually has some synergy with the Sword Soul cards.
which is insane.
Speaking of Sword Soul cards, Sword Soul Dragon of the Abyss, Fire Worm, a special summon effect monster, level 8, 3000 attack, 2900 defense. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by a worm monster's effect. And you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn.
Okay.
1. If a monster is banished by card effect, you can special summon this card from your graveyard if it was there when the monster was banished, or hand even if not, but banish it when it leaves the field. 2. If this card is special summoned, you can target one card in the field zone and one card your opponent controls or in their graveyard, banish them. So this is interesting, right? If you just have it in your hand, then potentially it sets up as a form of interruption.
Mhm.
It might be more specifically applicable against decks that have field spells, but realistically,
To me, that effect just screams it just screams Konami going, we hear you complain about Mystic Mine. Here's another out to Mystic Mine that normally wouldn't be able to activate under Mystic Mine.
potentially. So it's interesting because the Sword Soul deck has so many ways to banish a monster.
Oh yeah. Well, here's the thing. He doesn't be special summoned by a worm's effect. He doesn't care what worm does it.
Yeah, he is a worm. That means he can special summon himself by his own effect, right?
Yeah,
But he can also be special summon. No, I think Yazi has to be a certain like level 7 or lower or something.
Maybe.
Okay, hold on. You
Yeah, but
talk
like-
about that. Let me look up
yeah,
Yazi.
but like literally just any worm that can special summon another worm can pull this guy out, no problem.
Oh no, it's any worm type monster from
Yeah,
your deck.
so Yazi can do it
Yes.
from deck.
Okay,
oh my
but
God.
what's really interesting is he's level 8, which means he's not really good as synchro material. But
He's also just a big body.
yeah, he's 3k attack, 2900 defense. It almost serves as like a main deck boss monster. And so what I'm thinking is, so if a monster is banished by card effect, what you can do is you can synchro with Taya and Chishao. And then when Taya goes to grave, Taya can send Sword Soul Dragon of the Abyss to the graveyard.
And then
And then
Chishao
Chishao can, instead of adding one to hand,
banish.
can banish one.
And then New Chain
He
activates special
triggers.
summon.
Right.
You'd have to specifically do it as Chinging, Chainlink 2.
No,
Chainlink
Chishao.
1. Chishao, thank you.
Chishao 1, Taya 2.
Taya 2. And I think that's how, yes, I think that would be the correct way to do that.
Yes, because he would have to be there. If he's in the graveyard, he has to be there in the graveyard when the monster is banished.
Oh, wait a minute. Better. If it's in your hand and you have a Chishao, they activate field spell, cool. Normal summon monster, Chishao negate, effect a special, effect on field, pop to banish your field spell and your special monster. Like,
Yeah.
like the,
It serves as another form of interruption. Okay, here's the coolest part about this. Sword Soul really needed one more form of interruption.
And now they have it.
Right. Also, if Sword Soul can find a way to run a field spell, then it'll guarantee that Sword Soul always has a field spell to banish, because this just says a target a card in the field zone. It doesn't say which one.
Yeah, that is fair.
So it'll basically, that was one of Sword Soul's big problems, is they had plenty of interruption on field, and they even have back row interruption, but they don't really have many reliable searchable forms of hand interaction, which is something that the deck was missing. That's one of the reasons that the deck is not the most competitive right now. So this will be interesting to see.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and it's not like insane wackadoo. This is crazy. Why are they printing this?
It's a cool one of.
Yeah, exactly. It's a cool one of.
All right, next we have some new Ice Jade cards. Shout out to Mirren from the Discord server, one of our moderators, who is an Ice Jade enthusiast to the core. All right.
I respect it.
You want the sync or you want me to do it?
I'll do it.
Okay.
All right, we have Ice Jade.
You want me to do it?
Aegirine Geimer.
Yeah, I think it's Azurine.
Oh, Aegir Geimer. Here we go. Okay, I see what they're doing.
Okay, there's no way that's right.
No, it's Japanese name.
Oh, okay. I was like, dude, I'm looking at this. There's no way it's Aegir Geimer.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah, it's Aegir. It's probably like Aegirine Geimer,
Yeah, I'll take that.
which just sounds cool. Water Aqua Synchro effect, level 10, 3000 attack, 1500 defense. One water tuner plus one or more non-tuner monsters. Hey, you can make this in Sword Soul.
Yeah, you really can. This is actually very doable in Sword Soul because all the Sword Soul tokens are water attribute tuners.
You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1. Quick effect. You can make face-up monsters you control unable to be destroyed or banished by your opponent's card effects for the rest of this turn. Then, even if this effect was activated in response to the activation of opponent's card or effects, you can banish all cards with that name on their field and in their graveyard. Oh, I get it. So your opponent activates, let's say, a Lightning Storm.
Sure.
Chain this, none of your monsters can be, if they declare monsters, chain this, can't be popped, and then you banish their copy of Lightning Storm. However, something else you can do, hilariously enough, is let's say you're up against, I don't know, Tearlament. Normal summon a tier monster.
Sure.
They activate that effect, chain this effect, and in that tier, the monster they summon also gets banished.
Oh, it doesn't have to destroy.
Correct. It's just...
Oh.
Then, if this effect was activated in response to the activation of an opponent's card or effect, you can banish all cards of that name in their field and in their graveyard.
So, opponent activates Mystic Mine, chain this card, banish to Mystic Mine.
Yep.
That's interesting.
And then they have more. And then they have more copies in the graveyard. They go too.
That's really crazy.
2. If a card or cards is banished by an opponent's effect while this card is in your graveyard, special summon it.
Okay.
Note: the title of Empress was omitted in the TCG for
Cosmic Lores.
Yeah, Cosmic Lore's name, but in the lore, Cosmic Lore passes this title to Argyrine or whatever.
I think it's Aegirine.
Aegirine. This card, however, uses a less common kanji instead of the one for Empress. This one is similar to the Empress kanji, but with a mouth radical, and it means to wail, to cry. Fitting for her becoming the new Empress after the collapse of the Indian Cradle and the loss of the Empress Cosmic Lore. So
I think it'll be a playable card for sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to, in the words of our moderator who said don't do this, I don't want to call this card out as bad because it's an Ice Jade card. I think that it's very playable, and the Ice Jades desperately needed an extra deck monster. This is their first step in a little bit more relevance.
Like, not only do they need an extra deck monster, this is actually a very solid extra deck monster.
Yeah, it's a form of interruption.
I really like it. I think it's a good card.
And it's playable in Sword Soul. It's even better.
It's playable in any deck that can hit level 10s using water tuners.
Yeah. All right, next we have the Great Ice Jade Sword Appearance. This is a normal spell card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1, if there is a monster on your opponent's field and or in their graveyard, and you control a water monster, you can take one Ice Jade monster from your deck and either send it to your graveyard or special summon it. Whoo, it's just easily. If a face-up Ice Jade monster you control leaves the field by your opponent, except by being destroyed, and except during the damage step, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one card your opponent controls and banish it. Holy moly.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and dude, the artwork for this card is so cool. So the artwork is the monster, which is Ice Jade Azurine Geimer, fighting the
new Sword Soul
the
card.
new Sword Soul monster. Yeah.
That it is actually really cool. Really nice artwork.
Yeah,
really
it's
cool.
super sick. All right, and the last new card we're going to do is we have some new Dogmatica cards. So dibs on the monster on this one.
Yeah, go for it.
So we have a new Dogmatica monster called White Zoe of Dogmatica. This is a level 12 light spellcaster ritual effect monster, 4,000 attack and 4,000 defense. You heard that right. It is a level 12 ritual Dogmatica monster with 4K stats. You can ritual summon this card with Dogmatic Calamity. Cannot be ritual summoned except with a Dogmatica card's effect. This rules out it being ritual summoned through like the
Meteonis Drytron.
Yeah, Meteonis Drytron for like 2 Drytron monsters.
Yeah, or
because it's 4K attack.
Yeah, or like any other ritual
Right.
that stage you can use this for just ritual summon any ritual. No, it's
Yeah.
got to be specifically.
Right. And there's an yeah, exactly. Okay. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. 1. Dogmatica monsters you control are unaffected by your opponent's activated Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, and Link monster effects. 2. During your main phase, you can have your opponent apply one of these effects. Either they send 1 card from their hand or extra deck to the graveyard for every 2 cards in their extra deck, or they return all Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, and Link monsters they control to the extra deck. So they can either bounce all these cards from their field, or
They have to discard.
they have to either discard or send a card from the extra deck to the grave for every 2 cards. So right from the grip, you're sending 7 cards to their graveyard, either from their hand or extra deck, their choice.
I can see one situation. I can see one major situation where this would backfire.
Against Flunder?
No, against any deck that is that's using the extra deck, not as I'm just going to fetch my combo pieces.
But decks like Labyrinth, where they're like, oh, I'm going to run a bunch of Intises, and I'm going to run a bunch of...
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool. Send an Intis. I'll send another Intis. I'll send another Intis. I'll send a Garura, so that's pop 3 and draw 1. I think Intises are once per turn. Yeah, so it's like, let's say they are. Send an Intis, send a Cypher Immorta Mega, send a Wind Pegasus Ad Ignister, send a Garura.
It's a soft once per turn.
Send 3 Intises, send a Garura.
Yeah.
Just send all this stuff, get all
Send
these...
a Ferrojeek, draw 1, put 1 on the bottom.
Yeah, get all kinds of effects going off.
Yeah, it could potentially be really dangerous.
Go and turn to 0. But once you know what your opponent is playing...
Well, that's the thing. I don't think you can do it turn 0, because I think if you do it turn 0, they just say, okay, I'll return all the ones I control to the extra deck, and they don't control any.
During your main phase. Well, yeah, that's fair. You would want to
It's
summon
like
this on
it would
turn
be like
2.
a board breaker card.
Yeah.
So
Really easy to do, too. So, fun fact, this dude's Japanese name is White Nadir of Evil Dogma. You know, Nadir, as in Nadir's servant.
So, just for posterity's sake, I want to read Dogmatic Calamity for y'all.
That's fair.
So this was a card that was released in Lightning Overdrive, like back in the gut. This card can be used to ritual summon any Dogmatica ritual monster. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels exactly equal the level of the ritual monster you ritual summoned, or send 1 monster from your extra deck to the graveyard whose level equals the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. So you can just send
A level 12.
a level 12. Well, fusion.
Synchro Fusion.
Whatever. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. You can only use 1 Dogmatic Calamity per turn. So, or you can only activate once per turn. So, here's the really interesting part about this. It lets a Dogmatica deck run cards in their extra deck.
They would
something like 5-headed dragon, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's level 12, and he's 5,000 attack, which makes him a perfect target
Punishment.
for Dogmatica punishment. Yeah.
Yeah, because I only know of like 2 cards that you can't punishment with 5-headed dragon.
Yeah, I can't come up with any off the top of my head. I think,
To be fair,
so
the 2 ones I'm thinking of are both towers anyway.
yeah, I think that there is a. Oh gosh, this is gonna be like trivia now.
Yeah.
So I think there's a couple of Photon cards.
Yeah. A lot of a considerable amount of the Photon cards can buff themselves to be above 5,000.
No, I think that there's a couple of them that have base like 6,000 attack.
No, there's not 6,000. But I think 1 or 2 of them have 5K though. But I think that still puts them in punishment range for that.
Yeah, because it's equal to or greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to.
Yeah. Hold on, yeah. I was gonna say, just pull up the.
Yeah.
Let's look at this. Now I'm curious.
Yeah. All right. Let's. Okay. This is all like not planned.
Yeah, just kind of on the fly. We're doing this on the fly. It's the best part of having a computer right here.
Yeah. This would be less than or equal to.
5,000.
Okay, there's only a few. So there's Cyberdark End Dragon is 5K. Dragon Master Knight is 5K. Dystopia the Despondent, which I've never heard of, is 5K.
Well,
Five-Headed Dragon is 5K.
well, Dragon Master Knight isn't going to come out at 45 or at 4,500 or 5K.
Okay, so there's a dozen cards, or there's 11 cards that are 5K. There's 11 cards that are, or 9. I can't do math. 9 cards are 5K. And there's nothing over 5K base attack.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. So minus like like attack boosting stuff. Yeah, you can punishment anything with a 5-headed dragon. So you have the punishment 5-headed dragon hit something that's bigger than than an Entis,
Yeah.
which is a wide range. I'm not gonna lie. But then you can also utilize 5-headed dragon as your ritual spell target.
All right. You want to hit our last card? And then we'll do our couple of mailbag questions that we have the time for.
Yeah, definitely. Drag Matrix. Oh, Dogmatic Tricks.
Dogmatica tricks.
Yeah, Dogmatica Tricks. Dogmatica plus Matrix.
Yeah,
Continuous
basically.
spell. You can only activate one card with this card name per turn. When this card resolves, you can add a Dogmatica ritual monster or ritual spell from your deck to your hand. Then if your opponent controls a monster, you can add a Dogmatica card from your deck to your hand. So on activation, get the ritual monster and the ritual spell.
Yeah.
Literally. 2. Once per turn, if you control a Dogmatic or ritual monster, you can look at either extra deck, send a monster from it to the graveyard.
Holy moly. Okay, it's Izurine. That's how you say the Ice Jade card. It's Izurine.
Izurine. Thank you to whoever...
Thank you, Mirren, our moderator, who's an
Thank
Ice Jade
you.
expert. We owe you.
Yeah, big time.
Okay, so that is finally all of the new cards. Let's go ahead and knock out a couple of mailbag questions.
Some good, some
for
bad.
the last 5 minutes we have of this episode. So, have you ever had any experience with the Boy Scouts of America or scouting, and what are your thoughts on the program?
So, I was a Boy Scout
Oh, were you?
for many years.
Really? I did not know this.
Yes. I got all the way up to Bear Scouts.
Okay.
Above that are Eagle Scouts.
Sure.
Um,
Eagle Scouts are like the highest thing, right?
I think it's been years since I've even thought about this.
Sure.
No. It's Bear, Webelow, Eagle.
Webelow?
I think.
There's no way that's a rank.
Again, it's been years. I know Webelow is in there somewhere. I have no idea how to spell it. Don't ask. I never saw it written, just told.
Go. Keep
Anyway,
talking.
I had a whole lot of fun with it. Unfortunately,
Okay, that's not even a thing. Okay. Scout, Tenderfoot, Second Class, First Class, Star, Life, Eagle.
weird because I was a Bear Scout whenever unfortunately my troop had to disband due to lack of individuals.
Gotcha.
Didn't have enough people.
My closest thing is the church that I went to when I grew up had this thing called something Scouts. I don't know. It was a weird church thing. And I did that for like one summer and realized that the outdoors is icky and gross and I don't like it. And I didn't do it anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, did lots of fishing and hiking and outdoorsy stuff.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I still have my Boy Scout knife at home, like at my mother's place somewhere.
Crazy. Are either okay? And thoughts on the program? I don't know. I haven't kept up with it, and
It needs work.
yeah, sure.
That's all I'm gonna say. It needs some work.
Are or have either of you ever been involved in any other card games competitively or otherwise? We both dabbled in Magic a little bit growing up.
Listen, I've dabbled in Magic, Pokemon, Force of Will. What was it? Vanguard.
I would also count Hearthstone here.
Hearthstone as well. I've
Yeah.
done Hearthstone. I've also done Magic Gathering Arena, which is also Magic, but it's a little bit different.
It's Magic.
And then there was another Shadowverse. I've also done Shadowverse.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the upcoming One Piece card game? Yeah, I really want to play it. If
So
somebody
do-
wants to send me decks and cards, I'll pick it up tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm also interested in it just because the cards look cool.
Yeah, and because I'm a huge One Piece fan. Are there any budget strategies you can think of that seem good for the upcoming format?
Budget. It depends on your definition of
This
budget.
could be an entire episode all on its own, honestly.
Yeah. Maybe we could do that. We'll hold it.
Yeah, spoilers. We'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
We'll see.
Yeah. But like, okay, so like, let's just say your budget is like $150. You could probably build.
My first thought is Tri Brigade, but that's always my first thought.
Yeah. My second thought is actually just straight up Labyrinth, but that's because it's a trap deck.
Definitely for $150, you could easily build Sword Soul these days, except for Baron.
Yeah.
Baron's 100 on its own. Without Baron, you can probably do the whole deck minus staples, of course, just the core for maybe like what, $70?
Yeah, let's just say 80.
It might be. I mean, Tyas are supers. Long Yons are like a buck. Ecclesias are like $3, $2. Punishment's $1.
And
Your big expenses are Moyes are about 12 or 13,
And, like,
emergencies are like 7 or 8. So just think $60 for your Moyes and your emergencies, and then everything else is $20 max. So yeah, $80.
I mean, you could also,
And all the 10E cards are common or rare.
yeah, and theoretically, you could get a way of building the deck without Baron, right?
Yeah, you absolutely could.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
but you don't need Baron for the deck. It's better with Baron. There's no getting around that.
Yeah, but you don't need it.
No, you don't. You could build the whole deck, extra deck included, for easily $100. Not including side or staples, because you need like 12 hand traps.
Yeah. Now you can build Labyrinth from the ground up, because that's what I ended up having to do for the most part, for like $150 bucks.
Yeah.
And that's including the stables you would run.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, compulsory evacuation device, which actually we're getting a little pricey, but they got a reprint, so.
Yeah. Can either of you bake? And if so, what is your favorite thing to bake? And if not, favorite baked goods to consume? Okay, the only thing I can bake, so I can bake if I have a recipe right in front of me, but I'm not like a quote-unquote baker. If I do bake something, I'm probably baking something in the oven as far as not like pastries and stuff, but maybe like stuffed bell peppers, something like that. Or like a meatloaf.
Yeah, more savory stuff.
Yeah. More hearty stuff.
Years ago, I haven't made this recipe in years. I would make this chocolate cheesecake marbled brownies.
What?
Yes.
How had I not heard about this?
Because I haven't made them in 5 or 6 years.
I've known you for a lot longer than 5 or 6 years. I've known you for over half of my life at this point.
Listen. The first time I ever cooked them, I brought them home to my mother.
I feel betrayed.
She had them. She thought they were great.
What about bringing them home to your brother?
Listen, man, I haven't made them in 5 ever. My sister came home, looked at them, and went, "I'm not having any of those." And
I can't even look at you right now.
Yeah, I wonder if I can find that recipe.
You better. You better. But as far as favorite to consume, bro, hit me up with the brookie. For those of you that don't know, a brookie is when they mix brownie batter and cookie dough, and they bake it all at once, and it makes it's like a brownie cookie swirl kind of thing. It's oh my god.
I like pie.
I like cheesecake too.
I like pie.
All right, last question. Do you think Konami should make more archetypes with an alternative win condition, like how Runic tries to banish your deck?
If it's something more interesting.
Yeah, so I don't like Runic's shtick of taking resources away in that way. I'm not necessarily opposed to a burn strategy as long as it's interesting.
Not just set 5 pass, flip a bunch of burn cards.
Yeah.
That also
like that Mystic Mind burn deck.
No. Something more like, oh hey, I'm a normal summon this monster, which gets this equip spell, which then gets me this continuous spell. But then if I get all these cards on the board, I win. kind of a fake Exodia kind of thing going.
It's like a Exodia combo kind of thing.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I don't know. I don't really love the idea of alternative win conditions. I like
them when they're interesting, and it's not just, I'm just going to keep you from playing so I can just do my thing.
Yeah, so my favorite thing about something like Sword Soul is that it's a build-a-board deck, sure, but first of all, a lot of the times the board that Sword Soul builds is not an outrageous board. It was the same thing with Tri-Brigade. I enjoyed that deck. So your general Tri-Brigade board was like an Appaloosa and a Revolt, which seems like a really underwhelming board.
I mean, because that's 4 monster negates, 2 normally.
Usually it was 3.
Yeah. But like normally you'll get 1, maybe 2 before it just gets run over. And then
and if your hand was really good, you also put out like a double Dragon Lords. But think about what I'm saying, right? I'm not saying a bunch of like negate and destroy kind of effects.
No,
it's
just
more
negate.
like a monster negate or 2 or 3, and then
A
bounce and a banish with follow up.
Mhm.
And then
it's not a lot.
Realistically, it's not. And then if you look at like the Sword Soul deck, you have a
You have the monster negate, the on-field targeted monster negate.
so basically an imperm, basically.
Yeah.
With
You also,
Chi-Shao.
then you can also have the Omni negate and Baron.
Or you could swap Baron out for like a Cheng Ying, where you get, instead of being destroyed by card effect, it can banish one, and then if it banishes a card from your opponent's grave and field.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have the trap card, Sword Soul Blackout.
Pop 2 cards.
You're right, which it's basically Icarus attack,
Yeah. But then you also have Kijing Wangyan.
which can burn and banish stuff. And
Yeah.
it's so much more interesting to me because you don't really end up with a crazy overwhelming board, but rather different forms of interaction. And I think that's when Yu-Gi-Oh is at its best, is when you have different ways to interact with your opponent rather than just negate.
Rather than just telling them no.
Right. I think the varied forms of interaction are really where Yu-Gi-Oh gets interesting, and really where it becomes more skillful.
You're more interested in the, I activate this, yes, and
Yeah.
you're yes anding them as opposed to just no.
Correct. So
In using some terminology from, can't think of the word now. Improv group terminology. Yes and.
right. All right. Well, I think that will wrap it up for today's episode of the podcast.
Woo.
Thank you all, of course, for your continued support through Patreon. Tons of people are subscribing to our YouTube, which I am so thankful for. It's up around 300 subscribers now, which is a lot more than when we started posting the videos. It's been growing a lot. People have been really enjoying the shorts. We created a TikTok account that you should absolutely go check out. And so yeah, thank you all for supporting us and checking us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you're not already. Be sure to check out our sponsors, ETB Games, who we've just realized we forgot to plug mid-episode.
Whoops.
But check out ETB Games. Their link is in the description down below. Check out, of course, Millennium Threads with a discount code down below, and Dragon Shield, as well as TCG Player affiliate links down below. So,
All of that.
thank you all again for listening to today's episode, and until next time, have a great week, everybody.
Take care, everybody.